Listen, one thing is for certain and two things is for sure. There is no one who could outdrew Drew Sidora. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 14, episode 3. Like I said, can't nobody out Drew. You understand me? And the reason being, ain't nobody foolish enough to put themselves in the foolish positions that Drew puts herself in. You literally sit around and you make us laugh at you, Drew. I don't. Poor thing. Anyway, we're going to talk about it. First things first, Kenya. Girl, you over there trying to get some sympathy pricing? Tell me why the party planner needs to know about you and your husband or your ex-husband and what y'all got going on. Listen, girl, the price is the price. It's going to be between 10 and 15K. Period. I didn't even understand that whole thing, like you telling her about him and what he's going to come and add and what he's going to contribute. Girl, you over here bartering or you begging for sympathy price? And knock it off, Kenya. You know you got the money. Anyway, I didn't even get that. I don't even know why she's still even mentioning Mark. I wouldn't even give him the satisfaction of mentioning him, especially the way he treated her. I wouldn't even mention his name. Anyhow, moving on. Sheree and Marlo meet up for a little exercise class, honey, where Marlo ain't doing nothing. Marlo's like, I came here to look cute. I don't know about all that. I just came to look cute. That's it. That's it. And there was a guy, Cliff, who was actually doing the workout with Sheree. Cliff was older guy, and Cliff looked good in all that old white. He had this white jogging suit on. Cliff looked good. I said, go ahead, Cliff. I was just laughing. I said, with all your white, honey, with his beautiful dark skin. Anyway, then she leads out. Sheree tells us that Cairo, her son Cairo, is actually working for Tyler Perry Studios. I said, well, how about that? That's really groovy. That was really cool. I was wondering what was going on with Cairo because when she was here before, there was a lot going on around Cairo. I was wondering how the young man was doing. Seems that he's doing all right. Got himself, on the straight and narrow and doing good. So good for Cairo, working for Tyler Perry. Then Marlo, Lord have mercy. Marlo carrying on talking about her and her nephew are taking acting classes. Then she's talking about people, y'all better check out my IMDb page, but she couldn't get it together. She had IBMBD. You're doing the Drew thing now. Just shush, Marlo. Just shush. But she taking some little acting classes. Now she wants to go act. Y'all keep on following Miss Candy, honey. Um, then there was the whole thing. Sheree. Sheree got upset with Candy and Drew about the whole thing about Anthony and all of the business being told. And Sheree was like, listen, I ain't for all that dumb stuff that y'all talking about, but just know this. He said a whole lot. Anthony then told a whole lot about Drew and her husband. So, girl, while you kikiing it up and chit-chatting about me, there's plenty of stuff going on about you, and Candy, don't even try me. I said, oh, my. So she got a little attitude. It seemed like she got mad at everybody but Anthony. So I was wondering, do you really owe him money, Sheree? Do you actually owe him money? I mean, because he's the one doing all this. So how you mad at everybody else? Strange. Anyway, moving on. Let's go over to Todd and Candy's house. Todd and Candy's talking. Candy wants an EGOT. So she got a little bit to go. She got a Grammy, but the rest of it she got to work on. But I didn't know that was one of her goals. But she wants an EGOT. Listen, do it like you did everything else. Everything else you've set out to get, you've pretty much gotten your hands on. So, girl, just keep working, honey. Keep working. Todd's fussing about sex. I'm like, are you kidding? Who would ever thought you'd hear Todd and Candy having sex issues? But they're just busy, that's all. Todd has this project that he's working on, and she felt he didn't really want her to be in it because it seems as though they've been having some little problems where there's a little resentment setting in because whenever they do projects together, everybody talks about Candy. It's, oh, Candy's doing this, or it's always that old thing hanging over his head like he's clout chasing off of Candy. But Todd is very talented. Todd has a lot of accomplishments. If you've ever looked him up, go look up Todd Tucker. He really does have a ton of accomplishments. Todd has been a part of many, 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 many things that you have seen on television. Award shows, movies, and everything else that you've seen on television. And you just didn't know Todd was a part of it because that's what he does. He does the behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, they always have that little thing looming over his head of his clout comes from Candy. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. So I get it. I don't know about the whole being resentful of your wife, but I mean, I get it of, wanting credit for something yourself, but don't cut your wife out of your, come on, stop. Having her around, it don't hurt you. It don't hurt you. But I get it. But know that it don't hurt you, sir. Moving on. Drew and Anthony are out. They talk about Sheree. And again, this Anthony child, you're so comfortable speaking about this woman, and you know these cameras are running, and you know you're going to have to pay for this later. I'm like, oh, God. So it's this whole thing again about Sheree not paying people. And it's like, is it bartering? Does she barter with people, or is she literally not paying people? He said that she actually fell out with a vendor friend of his. The vendor person that cut her off, the whole She by Sheree thing, again, about her not wanting to pay. And then Shady Bravo and Andy, honey, they showed these receipts of past blog posts of folks who are actually speaking about no payment coming from Miss Sheree. Girl, so what really goes on? Are you really out here in these streets not paying people, Sheree, still? Like, what's going on? That's a mess. Anyway, and then in the midst of them being out doing all this, Drew gets a call from Sonya. Sonya that had a car accident and she needed to go and pick up Sonya. And I was like, Drew, are you just this fakely animated, or was this a reenactment? That was just a question of mine. Were we reenacting something that actually happened, or was this your actual just over-the-top reaction? I don't know. It seemed like I was watching an episode of the game, an old episode of the game. Anyway. And some people wrote in my comments last week that you must not like Drew. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But I point out what stands out for me. And if Drew's acting ridiculous, I'm going to point it out. I've always done. I always will do it. I'm honest. When I sit down, whatever sticks out to me, and you could be one of my faves. She's not one of my faves, but you could be one of my faves. If you're doing something that is over the top, I'm going to mention it. But now I don't have a problem with Drew. She's just a clown. She's just a clown. She's been playing clown. We 3 episodes in. Each episode, Drew has been Drew Zadora. She's been doing it for 3 episodes. Don't try to act like y'all don't see her. You see her clowning. Like she with the Universal Circus. Anyway, moving on. They still are doing that. Like, it's become a thing. I said, there's going to be some problems with Sheree and Drew. Because even with the whole little thing of going to go pick up Sonya, they're going to say, well, she picked up Sonya, and she's like, I got to go because I need to pick up my son. That's why I was on the way to pick up my son and had a little snafu with an 18-wheeler. It's like, oh, God. So she says, Anthony said, we better go get some gas or we won't be going nowhere. And she'll say, yeah, we ran out of gas, child. What we going to do? We going to call who? We going to call Sheree? And I was like, stop talking about her. You're going to get yourself into some trouble. You don't know Sheree, Drew. You don't know Sheree Whitfield like we know Sheree Whitfield. You don't really want it with Sheree. You don't. You really, you may think that's a good idea. You don't want it with Sheree, honey. You don't. You don't. Moving on. Ross and Sonia are talking. Here, he's got, they have a chauffeur service. And he's actually trying to rebuild it because it had kind of went, you know, some drop in business during the pandemic. So Ross was just talking about, just how much work it was and how, he's actually not just owning the business, he's actually working the business. He's working it back up. And, hey, it's your business when nobody else is going to do it. You got to do it. That's about having your own business. It is what it is. And then they were prepping Deuce, their little son Deuce, on how to behave and how to act when he goes to the party for Brooklyn. When he goes to Brooklyn's birthday party, they're teaching him about giving a gift. Deuce don't give a shit. I was like, he don't give a shit. And when they said it was a tea party, I'm like, oh, child, the little boys are going to be just like terrorized at this party. But anyway, let's go on to the party. This little episode just moved right along. Go to the party. Child, the party got started over an hour late. Over an hour late. Sheree shows up first. She looked really good. Now, she struck out on the first, was that the first episode? Whatever the last event that they did, she had that old grayish sweater dress that I hated so much. She redeemed herself. This gray dress and the gray pump and the gray veiled hat, that was really nice, Sheree. You look really, really good. She looked really, really good. As soon as I seen her, she walked in, and I looked down and I seen that old nasty piece of gray shoe. I said, ladies at lunch. Come through, Miss Sheree Whitfield. She was looking good. She's in my colors, honey. I said, come on, Sheree. She really did look good at the party. Sonya came in. Sonya had the most adorable pink dress. It was a mini, and it had the back all the way cut out, and it had bows. Really, really cute. Looked really, really nice on her. Now, her hat was a little off-putting because it was the wrong shade. Her dress was pink, and her hat was fuchsia. So that was irritating the hell out of me. But that dress was just adorable. It was just to die for. And it really looked cute on her. Drew came in there, and Drew never disappoints. She looked like an absolute clown, honey, in this dress, which was nothing but looked like a cheap, scaled-down version of a dress that Kenya already wore. And Kenya didn't take any time to tell, oh, girl, this looks just like my dress from so. I said, Shady Bravo and Andy, honey. Then they pop up the picture, honey. Boop, boop. Old nasty side by side. Sure enough, Drew was looking like a clown, I said. That really does look like the cheap version of what Kenya had. Girl, you just never learn. Anyway. Then this was the funniest thing of all. Okay, everybody, here we go. Here comes Brooklyn. Brooklyn's coming in. So everybody's standing around. They're waiting on Brooklyn to come in the door. Honey, who comes in the door? Candy, Blaze, and Ace. I fell out laughing. I said, oh, never would they take the spotlight, the guests of honor spotlight with they late coming to the party ass. I said, Candy. It was hilarious. She's like, why am I standing around? That was pretty funny. But then Brooklyn came, and she was trying to be a little girl, trying to have herself a good time. And, Kenya was trying to make her stop and take pictures. I said, leave her alone. Just let her play. She wanted to play, honey. There was one little girl, taller little girl. Them two was playing. They was having some fun. I said, let them go. Let them play, honey. Child, at that part, Deuce was a damn terror. Oh, when I tell you Deuce terrorized his mother at that party, Sonya, girl, I wouldn't take Deuce nowhere else, honey. He terrorized her at that party. Didn't want to act right. She had to threaten to call his daddy on the phone. Said, I'm going to FaceTime him. You're going to get in trouble. That shit wasn't working. He was cutting up, honey. She said, sit down. He said, I don't want to. I said, He wouldn't be. He ain't public ready. He ain't ready yet, Sonya. He was terrorizing his mother at that party, child. Anyway. So they get the kids situated, and then they decide they're going to have this shady tea game. I said, why at the kids' party? Why? You know this is going to go left. Only Kenya. Only Kenya, child. Child, so you're supposed to take and they give everybody a card, and everybody's supposed to write down something, some piece of tea that they know about somebody else's table. And there was a mixture. There was the Real Housewife ladies, and there was a few other friends of Kenya's. Lord have mercy. This was one of the seasons. The very first scene of the season is why I always said that old Marlo wouldn't get no peach, honey, because she don't know how to act in front of company. Here it is. Somebody that wrote on a thing. Candy picks the card where somebody had wrote about her. It said Candy sucked dick in the locker room. She's like, what? And Monietta Shaw was there. Okay, you know Monietta that used to be married to Neo. And I was like, Monietta, girl, that didn't work. Like, we're over it. It's not funny anymore. When Candy was like, what? Who wrote this show? Who said that? Girl, we're over that. Poor ain't even on the show anymore. That line ain't funny, and it's over. You know, I hate somebody to try to run an old joke. Like, you're the old joke right now, Monietta. We don't know you. We don't know what you giving. And you coming in there trying to crack an old joke, girl, get on. I was like, that fell flat. But anyway, Candy didn't find the humor. She was like, I ain't sucked nobody's dick in no goddamn on locker room, and I want to know who said it. She didn't see the humor in it. I was like, Sheree's old shady self will get in that confessional and say, well, I didn't understand what the big deal was. She sucked dick everywhere else. Really, Sheree? Really? That was nasty. That was nasty, mean, and rude. I was like, wow. But you do know that there will be a time that will come and you will have to pay for that comment. You do know that, right? It's called a reunion. You know they ain't gonna let that go, girl. You're gonna pay for that. Moving on. Then here we go. Drew and Sheree get into it. And there's a girl, Fathom, who is Sheree's friend. I said, Lord, how does she? And sometimes you just don't need your friends to join in and chime in because they don't be helping you. She was running her mouth, and Sheree was like, wait a minute, girl, whoa, 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 whoa. I said, uh-huh. She's telling it all, honey. They get to going back and forth. Her and Drew got to having it because her and Sheree was going at it. So then Fathom took it up. And honey, that Fathom turned around and said, well, honey, you get mad about what Anthony said. You coming running down what Anthony said, which I thought was really tacky. But she said, he said your husband was gay. I said, oh, wait a minute. Goofy Drew ain't even heard the woman. She's so busy arguing and doing too much. She ain't even heard her. Ain't even hear her right. Because if I was wondering why she didn't have a reaction, because that was my reaction. I said, your husband put a spoonful of sugar. The medicine go down. The medicine go down. The medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar. And I was wondering why she didn't say nothing. She didn't hear her. She didn't hear her. She was so busy in her clownishness, she didn't even hear what the woman had said. Child. Sheree was like, she is a ditzy bitch. And they was slinging bitch too. I was like, why y'all calling each other bitches? So the one woman get up and she laughed. She's like, this is a child's party. My children are here. And that damn Marlo, like I told you, just can't take her. No, she was, Ken, you don't invite your white friends. I said, oh. What do white got to do? Marlo, shut up. This is why I always thought you would never get a peach. You just don't know how to act when you come out. They let you out the cage a little bit, and then you act a damn donkey. I said, Lord, they'll say, okay, well, go on home, white lady. And I was like, I couldn't believe they kept like letting her go on. I was like, shut up, Marlo. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. It didn't look good. It didn't feel good. I don't like that kind of stuff. I didn't care for that. I was like, those are the thoughts that you keep to yourself. Keep that to your goddamn self. That's kitchen table talk. Anyway, it really was unnecessary talk, but whatever. The lady got up and she left. So Drew continues on. Now, she, like I said, she didn't even hear what Fathom had actually said correctly. She actually thought, when she started back arguing again after Layla, Stupid Drew actually thought that the lady was talking about Tyrone. She's like, yeah. She started going on talking about how Anthony had told that Tyrone was on probation. Nobody gives a damn about Tyrone being on probation. We want to hear more about the fact that Anthony said that Ralph had a spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down, and you didn't even hear it. And they actually got her and got her together. The party was ending. Then we had this whole little situation where Drew gets started with Sheree again at the front door, and now she pointing her fingers in Sheree's face, and it's going back and forth. And honey, that Candy told her, she said, you know she got a strong right hook, right? She has a strong right hook, honey. Let it go. She gonna say, I got a strong everything. You got a strong circus wardrobe. I don't know about everything else. Girl, you better leave Sheree alone. You are not ready for Sheree. You're not. You're really, really not. You ain't ready, period. You looked foolish. You did it again, Drew. You made us laugh at you. In my mommy dearest voice, you love to make me laugh at you. Anyway, Drew, get your shit together. Anyhow, this is what went on this episode, honey. Drew arguing and ain't even listening during the argument. Girl, you can't read and roast unless you listen. You have to listen to know which direction to take your reads and your roast. They got you in this one, girl. They got you. You looked absolutely crazy. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all next week. Later.